If you're an accounts receivable, you know this denial. You probably see it every single day, applied to patients' deductible. It's hands down one of the most common reasons a claim gets kicked back. But what if you had a foolproof process to handle it? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to walk through a step-by-step guide to get these claims resolved the right way.
Yep, there it is. We've all seen it a million times. It pops up in our work queues, and on the surface, it seems pretty straightforward, right? The insurance did its job, the cost went to the patient's deductible, end of story. But is it really the end of the story? Not even close. This is actually where our work, the real work, begins.
So this denial lands on your desk. What's your first instinct? Do you just immediately transfer that balance over to the patient? Or do you put on your detective hat and start digging a little deeper? How you answer that question makes a huge difference, not just for your AR days, but for the patient too.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to really understand what this denial means. Then we'll build the perfect investigation checklist. After that, we are going to zero in on the single most important question you have to ask. And finally, we'll cover how to take the right action and, this is the fun part, how to fight back when the insurance company gets it wrong.
Okay, first things first. Section 1, understanding the denial. Before we can fix anything, we've got to be crystal clear on what we're actually looking at. So the textbook definition seems simple enough. The insurance carrier says, okay, this is the allowed amount for the service. The patient hasn't hit their deductible for the year, so now they owe this amount. It's a totally legitimate denial type, but the key here is whether or not it's correctly applied.
And that brings us to your most important job in this whole scenario. You're the gatekeeper. You stand between that insurance decision and the bill that lands in the patient's mailbox. So before anything gets billed to the patient, you have to verify that the insurance company processed this claim correctly. Just assuming they did is a fast track to mistakes and, let's be honest, a lot of angry phone calls.
All right, so how do you verify it? You need a plan, a script. Let's build out the perfect checklist so you can get all the answers you need in one single phone call.
This right here is your toolkit. When you get that insurance rep on the line, these are the 6 things you need to find out. Get the basics first, claim number, process date. Then get the money details. What was the allowed amount and did all of it go to the deductible? And then here's the absolute game changer. You have to ask if the claim was processed in-network or out-of-network. Wrap it up by confirming the patient's overall deductible status. And please, never hang up that phone without a call reference number and the rep's name.
I just called one of those questions a game changer. Let's talk about why. Because this one question is the pivot point for this entire process.
Seriously, I can't stress this enough. Whether that claim was processed in-network or out-of-network is the fork in the road. Getting the answer to this one question tells you exactly what to do next. It's the difference between a simple patient bill and a full-blown dispute with the payer.
And here are those 2 paths, laid out plain and simple. If the rep says it was processed in-network, you're on the green path. The denial is probably correct, and your next move is to look for another insurance to bill. But if they say it was processed out of network and you know for a fact that you're an in-network provider, that's a huge red flag. That means it was probably a processing error and your job just switched from billing to fighting.
Okay, let's walk down that first path. The claim was processed correctly as in-network. What's next?
So, you've confirmed it's a valid in-network denial. The very first thing you do is check for secondary insurance. Is there another payer in line who can pick up this tab? Your system should tell you, but it never hurts to double check.
If the answer is yes, great. Your job just got a whole lot clearer. First, you've got to verify eligibility with that secondary carrier for that date of service. Once you confirm they're active, you can transfer the balance and get that claim and the primary EOB sent over. And you know the drill. Document everything. Who you talk to, reference numbers, every single action. Now, what if there's no secondary? Well, then the balance does belong to the patient. But hold on. Before you just flip that balance, notice that big, important note. You should always get a thumbs up from your supervisor before officially making it the patient's responsibility. It's a critical final check to make sure everything is by the book.
Okay, but what about that other path? The one where you find an error. Let's get into the art of the dispute. This is where things get interesting. This is the moment your investigation pays off. You've confirmed you are a participating provider, but the carrier processed the claim as if you weren't. That is their mistake, and it is not the patient's problem. It's time to challenge that decision.
I love how direct this is. It literally says to argue with the rep. Now, we don't need to be rude, but we do need to be assertive. You have the facts on your side. Your job is to present them clearly and confidently and not back down.
So here's your script. State clearly, we are a participating provider. Then ask, can you tell me why this claim was processed out of network? And then you don't ask if they can reprocess it. You request that they reprocess it correctly and immediately. And just like before, get that reference number for the request and ask them how long it should take so you can set a reminder to follow up.
Because at the end of the day, that's the mission. This whole process isn't just about clearing a denial off your list. It's about making sure claims are paid correctly, that contracts are honored, and that patients are protected from bills they should never have received in the first place.
So next time that denial pops up, you'll know exactly what to do. You've got the checklist, you know the key question that splits the path in two, and you know how to handle both outcomes. You're not just a biller anymore. You're an investigator, and you're making sure the system works the way it's supposed to.